When you look online, lawyers talk in platitudes, they give you generalized advice, but nobody will tell you what they would do if they were in your shoes. They're worried about getting sued. They're worried that you're going to say, oh, you gave me legal advice. I say, F it. So here's the situation. I had a buddy call me the other day. His wife was in a low-speed accident with their kid's bus. Didn't think she was hurt, but wasn't sure. She was still in shock. He called me right after the accident and said, what do I do? Who do I call? Should I talk to my insurance company? And so here is the advice that I gave him. It was a low-speed accident, right? Seems like your wife is okay. First thing I would do is tomorrow morning, if she even feels remotely off, she should go to the doctor, right? And the reason she should go to the doctor is because she could get this on file to make sure that there's a record that she didn't feel great the morning after the accident. This is a standard trick of the insurance companies. If you don't do that, if there's time between your accident and seeing a doctor, they're gonna call you a malingerer. They're gonna claim that you're making this up. They're gonna claim that your injury was caused by something other than the accident. So best thing you could do is put a placeholder, right? Go to the doctor. Hopefully it's the only time you have to go to the doctor, but at least you have that placeholder. That way, if you don't feel well, you have a record of this. Second, my advice to him was to put his insurance carrier on notice, right? He didn't know if he wanted to hire a lawyer, right, at this point because his wife didn't seem injured. You don't want them claiming that, you somehow harm their right or their ability to protect their interests and disclaim coverage. So putting them on notice is a really good thing to do. And then I told him, do not talk to the other insurance company. Bad idea. They're just going to hold everything you say against you, right? And I would let your insurance company fight this out for you. Now, there are some people that would argue in this particular situation, okay, my buddy's wife is not injured. Doesn't look like he's going to file a personal injury claim. Seems like it's a low dollar amount and the other insurance company's on the hook to pay. Should he not involve his insurance carrier, right, to avoid his premiums going up, right? Everybody's always nervous about putting their insurance carrier on notice because, at the end of the day, they're going to raise your premiums and claim that you had this accident, etc. Look, there's an argument to be made that maybe that will save you a couple bucks. I personally disagree with that, right? My view of the reason why I pay for insurance is to make sure that I'm covered if and when stuff like this happens. And I think you'd end up in a much worse situation if you go and try and negotiate with the other insurance company. They end up turning your argument against you, come after you for money, and then your insurance company says, we're not going to cover this because you didn't give us a right to the ability to protect our interests. So in my estimation, risk reward here, I think you're better off putting your insurance company on notice and let them go after the other insurance company for what you're owed. I think that that's my view of it. That's why you have insurance. If there was a situation where you were at fault and, you could pay the person out of pocket cash to make this go away, different situation. But in this particular situation, I think my buddy was well served calling the insurance company.